So, my name is Stephanie Mumwan. I'm the Director of Communications and Sustainability at Neighborhood Sun. This is our seventh Community Advocacy Board meeting, which is very exciting. We hold them quarterly on a variety of topics. And I'm excited to introduce David Saunders, who is our presenter today. He is a longtime community solar subscriber and clean energy advocate out of the Baltimore area. And he's also a trained electrification coach. So he's going to talk to us today about home electrification. And at the end, we'll also share a link in case you're interested in becoming an electrification coach so you can help other people in your community along their journeys as well. Thanks for being with us, David.
Hello, everybody. So the question on the table is this is the Community Advocacy Board. So if everyone on this call, we're all members of Neighborhood Sun already, we understand the importance of using solar, we understand climate change, and we may very well want to make a difference in our community. So this discussion that I'm going to give is about how to advocate for um, how to advocate to fight climate change, how to advocate for lowering your carbon footprint, how to advocate for community solar farms. So everyone kind of understand that this is how an individual can advocate. My own personal story is I retired, spent my first year probably playing poker too much, and then I discovered the whole climate change field. I went back to school and I actually have a certificate as a climate change professional. If anyone's interested in taking that route, certainly contact me. My email is there, and I'll show you how to become a certified climate change professional, certified by the Association of Climate Change Officers. So let me jump in and show you what I've done and what the people that I've teamed up with. I reached out to some other people, and this is what we did. When I did Neighborhood Sun and I saw what a great program it was, I went to some others in my community and I said, hey, this is a great thing. This is something we can do also. So I went to my synagogue, and here's the web for our synagogue. You can see it's an old synagogue in downtown Baltimore. For people in Baltimore, it's in Reservoir Hill. And you'll see here under the act, it says community solar. So a group of us, three of us, went to the board and we said, this is a good idea. And we did vetting of Neighborhood Sun, and we said, we want to partner with Neighborhood Sun. We want other people to join our board. And here's the president of our congregation. She did this video, and we put together a program, and then we have recruited over 100 families to Neighborhood Sun. So you can see over 100 households. And then I started doing the calculation in February of 2024, and we have avoided burning over 1 million pounds of coal since we joined Neighborhood Sun. And we're going to continue doing this count and continue adding more households to our solar farm, to the Neighborhood Sun solar farm, and continuing to do the calculation. And we're making a difference in Baltimore. So this was a very positive program for us. The question then became, once you're on Neighborhood Sun, how else can you cut down your carbon footprint? Because over 40% of the greenhouse gas emissions that all of us make come from decisions we make in the household, decisions we make as family. So we then tackled this issue next. And we got this book, the Electrification book, and all of these links are going to be in the chat and they're available to you. And if you go to this link, you see this book, Electrify Everything in Your Home. And this is prepared by Rewiring America. And this is the group that is the think tank behind fighting climate change in America. They were the think tank behind the Inflation Reduction Act, a fabulous organization. And this book is available free. And when we started the Betham journey on home electrification, Joe Rosenberg, who lives in Maryland, came and spoke to us. Now I'm going to show you parts of his book. So this is the book, and you can all download it. It's 100 pages. It's free. Um, this describes the different aspects of our home that use fossil fuel, or we could substitute. And then each of these numbers relates to a chapter in the book. So the first step is purchasing renewable energy, which everyone on this call has already done. Then you have to look at the electrical panel. You may or may not change it. Most homes have at least 100 amps. The newer homes have 200 amps. That's totally adequate for a heat pump. And then three is the heat pump itself. Four is a heat pump hot water heater. These are coming online. They're being developed. We'll see more and more of them. That's a way of cutting your gas usage. Number four. Number five is, I don't see it. It's maybe tucked away on the bottom of the page.
Electric
Number
cooking.
five, electric cooking, which I'm going to touch upon. Six is the electric clothes dryer. This was one of the steps that I took. My gas clothes dryer failed. I then put an electric clothes dryer, and then the HVAC man was in the house, and I said, "Could you cut the gas line?" And he went and he put a cap on the gas line to the electric clothes dryers, and I felt great elation that I capped that gas. And my hope is to eventually cap the gas line to my house. So this is one of the charts in the book. Here's another chart in the book. One of the first things that Joel recommends is community solar, which you're all doing. You can see community solar here, or rooftop solar. We're all doing community solar, which is a great, great, great solution to the problem. Then there's a chapter on heat pumps. That's one of the harder steps, but it's one of the ones that gives the best results, because many of us are burning, they call it natural gas, it's actually methane. And methane, when it goes up in the atmosphere, it goes up there for 100 years, and it is a serious greenhouse gas.
David, we've got Michael Davis in the chat asking about a heat pump dryer. Is there anything you can share about that?
Yes. Heat pump clothes dryer, they're coming online. Are they perfected yet? The reviews are mixed. I had to make a hard decision, and my wife had a big discussion with her about, do we want to be leaders they're used a lot in Europe. The Europeans use them a lot because they're not vented. So it's a dryer that's not vented. So there are some issues of moisture. You can look at it if you get uh, electric clothes dryer and it's Energy Star, you're going in the right direction. If you want to be a leader, if you want to be out in front, an early user, then go for the um, clothes dryer that is a heat pump. I think more work needs to be done on them, but they exist, they work, they're used a lot in Europe, not much in the United States.
And I will say we're working on having one of our future CAB meetings focus specifically on heat pumps because we get a lot of questions on that.
Right. Here you can see that a natural gas burner, 1 kilowatt equivalent of natural gas gives you zero point 0.8. If you put your hand over here on the top of your furnace, it'll be burning hot. Most of the heat, or a good deal of the heat, or at least 20% of the heat, goes out the top of your furnace into the atmosphere. So it's very, very inefficient. An electric, 1 kilowatt of electricity in gives you 1 kilowatt of heat out, but a heat pump is like magic. It takes 1 kilowatt of electricity and 3 kilowatts heat comes from the outside, and we'll explain that in another session. You get 4 kilowatts of heat. So it is magic in that regard, and they're getting better and better and better. More of them being built. They work in cold weather. They're very common in Maine, and this is the wave of the future is heat pumps. I'm going to, when I do my next rebalancing of my personal little finances that I have for my retirement, I'm going to look for a heat pump category of investment just to have something just on heat pumps because I think they're going to be a big part of the future. Now, there is something called induction cooktops. Right now, our cooktops, we use gas. Gas, if you have gas in your house, you should always be venting it because it actually puts out nitrous oxide. It's actually not good for you. You have children, asthma, a lot of problems with gas. Induction is the new way. Electric is okay, but anything new, go for an induction. It's the modern way to cook. People who have it love it. It works basically an invisible magnetic field. It's again like magic. Here's just a chart. You can see most of the electricity in America is now wasted. If you go to the hood of your car, when after you've been driving, you touch the hood of your car, it's heat. That is wasted energy. The top of your furnace in your basement is wasted energy. So most of the energy that we use in America is wasted. And this would be the future. And this is what Rewiring America is recommending, that we go from this level to this level, and it's doable. We have the technology. We just don't have the political will to do it. It's another story. So now what can we do for our own home? So if you want to get on this journey and you're going to be an advocate for it for yourself or for other people, come to this website here. This is Rewiring America website. I'm going to show you how it works. You click here and it says, get started. The time to go electric is now. Let us help you with a plan. You click get started. And this happens to be my home. So you can see my home in Baltimore, and it'll show you what I've already done. So I have the solar panels because I'm using neighborhood sun, and I have the electric dryer. So what are my next steps? And it comes over here, tells you your next step is to get a home energy audit, which I'm going to show you one in a minute. So then if you click here, this is the project of a home audit, and it explains each step of a home audit. There's an intro, they show you the cost and benefit, the rebates, the loans, and this is state by state. So this will give you the loans and rebates and the programs for your state. And it'll even give you contractors for your local areas. This is an amazing website, highly recommend it. So this is a way to advocate for, even in your own household, to advocate for home electrification. This is the premier site for this kind of work. I'm showing you now some slides from Rewiring America, and this is from the Home Electrification Coaching Program. And it looks at the home as a system, because as we begin to discuss these things with the other people in our home, we have to understand their behavior, understand what they want and what they care about, and their comfort level. This is the course. It's a 4-week course. I'm going to give you the link for it and talk about a little more at the end. But here are some of the slides from the course, is looking at the home as an environment. Where is it? Where do you live, which matters a lot. If you live in Florida, it's a different situation than if you live in Maine. The mechanical systems of the house, the occupants and their behavior. Some people like a warm house, some people like a cold house, etc. Then looking at the home as a system, and warm air rises and cool air sinks. I am now in my basement. It's a summertime. I'm in my basement. It's cool. I have 2 stories up. I have a room where my main office is. It's hot now. So that's my behavior. I switch offices. I go to the basement in the summer. The ramifications of this are that as your hot air in the wintertime goes out your roof, goes out your attic, goes out through all these little spaces, cold air comes into your house through leaks. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. So you have to determine how leaky is your house. Some houses are very leaky, some tight. If your house is ultra tight, we actually bring air from the outside into the house. There'll be a fan that'll run for 10 minutes every hour to bring fresh air in if your house is ultra tight. So how do you know how tight your house is? Well, all of these factors in the house matter, these different areas of the house. You have to do a home energy audit. You can see that blower door is placed in the front door of the house, and it creates a suction. So air is being pulled out of the house. The technician goes into the house and closes all the vents, all of the bathroom vents, all the windows are closed, and it creates suction. Then the auditor goes with an infrared camera, and we can see leaks. I'm now going to show you an actual report. So here is an actual uh, report, sample audit. Now, before I show you the audit, let me just show you something in a Maryland bill. So everyone in Maryland, in your bill, hidden away is the Empower Maryland charge. You see this here in red, Empower Maryland charge. On a bill of $390, $20, so it's almost $400, 5%, $20 goes to this Empower Maryland. So you may wonder, what is that? I'm going to show you now what Empower Maryland is. So on every one of your bills, you're giving some amount to this Empower Maryland program. So when you do an energy audit, and it'll be another 2 minutes before I show you the Empower, you'll get pictures like this. This is a picture, this is my daughter's house. This is a bathroom vent, and you could see that blue around it. That is cold air. This means that this bathroom vent doesn't have a baffle. A bathroom vent is pushing air out, and then when you shut the fan off, a baffle, a flap goes and closes it. This house does not have a flap. So all winter long, all of her heat is escaping out that space. Now here's another picture. You can see in the wall up here, that blue, that means cold air is coming in to her house in the winter, and it means cool air from inside the house is going out in the summer. Here's another case. You can see the different leakages. Here you can see in the ceiling the leakages. And this one is a grand one. This leak here is the house at one time when it was originally built had a big fan, like a whole house fan in the upper floor. That fan is obsolete. It's not used, but it's not insulated. So all winter long, hot air was going out and escaping, and that basically costs money, and it's not good for the, we're wasting energy. So now you're saying, well, what does that all mean? Now let me show you the energy audit report. So this is the report on my daughter's house. And let's start here. They give you, and this report, by the way, this is BGE, the Baltimore Electric Company. This is their software. So this is a utility company software. The home auditor goes and plugs in information, and we find out that the air leakage is measured in cubic feet per minute, and hers is here at about 7,300 is current, and they propose to get it down to about 5,000. So that would be a big change in the amount of leakage. So here's an example. This is the measure, the existing condition, the improved condition, and the estimated annual savings. So the air ceiling level of this house, it's in Towson, the air leakage rate is 7,300 cubic feet per minute. 50 pascals is the amount of suction from that blower vent that in the door during the test. And they're going to bring it down to 5,100, and that'll save $360 every year into the future. And as energy costs go up, it would save even more. So now you may be saying, okay, you're going to save me money. What is it going to cost me? It's a reasonable question. How much does it cost? So this is the proposal from the energy supplier, from the home auditor. Let me just show you. This is a picture of the house. So there's the house. And you look at the energy audit, and the auditor gives four levels of a four-step proposal. One is a proposal for the top floor attic, then for the lower areas, then for the water heater, and then for the heat pump. So there are four, and he basically says to us, do the first step. This is the most important one. The other ones you can wait on a little bit. And the whole idea of the Inflation Reduction Act is that we don't replace a furnace that's operating. We wait till it fails. But when it fails, we replace it with the heat pump. The same thing with your clothes dryer. You don't just throw out a clothes dryer, but when it fails, you replace it with the electric. So let's just look at this in detail. So he's saying adding 10 to 11 inches of cellulose open blown to the flat attic to achieve R49. So resistance is measured in R value in the attics. Higher R is better. It used to be 20, 30. Now the recommended is 49. So now you're saying, what does that cost? And it cost $10,000, $11,000 to do this. You're going, oh my goodness, $11,000. How am I ever going to pay for that? But 7,700, three-quarters of it is paid by the Empower Maryland program.
And so this may vary based on state, but other
Right.
states also have similar.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Clarify that. It doesn't work in every state. So my daughter's out-of-pocket cost is $3,000, and for $3,000, she gets $11,000 of weatherization. And the way this works is that the utility, the weatherization company bills the utility for it. So we don't ever touch this $7,700. But in order for them to get the $7,700, they have to prove to the utility that they've in fact lowered the air handling in the house. So they have to do a before and after blower test. And they have to show photographs of the work they did before the utility will give them their 7,000, almost $8,000. So that's an added check. And then also currently there's a 30% tax credit on the $3,000. This is questionable. There's some people in our government who are going to cut this out or do everything they possibly can to cut out that tax credit for slowing down climate change. But this may not exist. But if she does it this year, which we have it scheduled to do, she'll also get 30%. So that'd be another $1,000 off. So basically for $2,000, she'll get $11,000 of weatherization, and she'll basically save, there's a number somewhere, $1,000 a year. Oh, here it is, $925 a year, which will save into the future. Okay, so back to our story here. So we did the sample audit report. Now we're going to go to breakout rooms. Um, Stephanie, you want to take over?
Yes, thank you. So we're gonna do breakout groups real quick. Will you just go to the next slide with the questions, please?
Okay.
I'll go ahead and share the questions in the chat so you can see them in your group. But we're going to take just a few minutes so that everyone can connect with each other, get to know each other. So if you could please just share your name and location. I know we did that in the chat, but just so you know who you're talking to, and a bit about what motivated you to subscribe to community solar. Could be savings, could be environmental impact, whatever it means to you. And then also, either based on this presentation or based on what you were coming into it with, which step in the home electrification process do you most want to consider moving forward? So I'll go ahead and put us in those groups, and we'll take about 5 minutes to talk about that, and then I'll bring you all back here. Well, thank you for participating.
No,
And
I'm just in Stephanie, in
yeah.
our little group, we had, I thought, a very interesting discussion, and Jay, certainly jump in if you want to clarify it. But in describing Neighborhood Son to a friend, the friend had solar panels, and the solar panel company went bankrupt. And I don't know if Colorado's had a lot of solar companies that have gone bankrupt, but I know in Maryland, the biggest problem that we faced is that we had these third-party energy suppliers for the last 10 years that were shady, and now they've been kicked out of Maryland. Um,
Well, I think we had an instance with that personally. They were hounding us and then now we get nothing.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of the issues with community solar is just dealing with the mistrust that's out there from a lot of these predatory practices with rooftop solar or third-party energy. It's important to be vigilant as a consumer. And sometimes people are a little too vigilant and scared of community solar, which, is clearly not a scam, but we understand that it can sound too good to be true sometimes. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor for questions right now, just to make sure we have enough time for that. So, if there are any questions you have for David about home electrification or about Neighborhood Sun and community solar in general, or any feedback you'd like to share on your experience as a subscriber, go ahead and raise your hand or share it in the chat if you'd like. Yes, Cara?
Hi, everybody. Hi, David. I wonder if you know anything about air to water heat source pumps. You know
Air to,
anything about
no, no.
to heat water?
Oh, to heat pumps to heat water.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, well that's a real thing. They're
I
they're
know.
now perfected. They work. It's like magic. In order to have, so if you have a hot water heater in your basement, what happened in California is they formed a group of 100 people got together. They were manufacturers, installers, people from the utility, people from the government, and they worked for 6 months and they came up with a common standard and electronic architecture. So there's now in California, and they're being manufactured now, a hot water heat pump that can be plugged into regular 120 electrical line. In most cases, you need a 240 line, but it actually works. A heat pump for hot water heater is a real thing. It works. You can buy them. Um, and actually, they have a valve on them because they get so hot. They actually have a cold water valve because the tank gets so hot just from the heat pump. They have a cold water valve that mixes in automatically to get your temperature at a safe temperature. So that's a real thing. You can go out and buy those now.
Thank you.
Rachel, go ahead and then I'll take the questions from the chat.
I saw when I was applying, excuse me, hold on just a sec. When I was applying that there was only 2 solar farms available. How likely is it that they will not be taking applications or they would fill up?
I'm not sure I understand the question. You mean if you have two with availability in your community?
Yes, so there in my area there was only 2 solar farms available that were open.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to make sure that how fast I should jump on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Or do I
sounds
have
like,
time?
yeah, I'll just answer that real quick. The what we do at Neighborhood Sun is we find subscribers for projects before they go live, before they're actually connected to the utility. That's an important piece of what we do. We have to have enough subscribers lined up for a solar project before it's connected to the grid.
Gotcha.
And then when it's connected to the utility, it's full theoretically, and we move on to another project. So there's a constant fluctuation from one project to another. We're always moving, filling a project, moving on to the next project. So if you see only a couple projects, our advice is don't dilly-dally
Okay.
because we do fill these projects up, and then sometimes there's a waiting period before we have
Okay.
more projects. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
We have people in our Beth Am project who are sorry they didn't jump on the bandwagon because now they have to wait a month or two, a couple of
Okay.
months. I have a
We
question.
will get on this bandwagon very soon. I don't.
Yeah.
I wanna. I told. She's like, I'll do it today, and then it was like, I'll do it next week, and then so, we'll do it. So thanks.
I,
That was
I have
my
a
question.
question. I have a question for Stephen. Stephen, I think you said in the chat that you have a heat pump clothes dryer. A heat
I
pump.
do, yeah. Yeah, they're now standard in all condos
Could
in
you
Canada.
tell us about it?
Yeah. Well, basically, all it does is it has a small heater on the intake, and then basically there's a heater coil on one side, a heat pump in the middle, and a refrigeration coil on the other. So you don't get any venting; you just get condensate. So it's a closed. So basically, the clothes go in wet. There's an initial element that pumps some heat into the intake air. The hot air removes some of the water. Then the heat pump pumps the heat back out of that water to turn the steam back into condensed liquid and uses that heat to reheat the next batch of air. So it's a little closed cycle heat pump. It stops, obviously in Canada, you don't really want to have vents out of buildings because, we regularly get minus 30, minus 40 in winter. So yeah, it's massively more efficient, and you end up with condensed water, distilled water, which you can use to water your plants.
So you get a little water at the end of the dry cycle. There's some
Oh
water.
yeah, literally all the water. There is no venting at all.
No venting, so
All the water
comes out.
ends up, all the water ends up as condensate by being pumped over a cooling fin.
What
So
is
there's sorry.
what is the brand?
Ooh, don't know off the top of my head. I'm
Okay,
actually
so
not
it's
in
not
the.
a
I'm in
it's
the.
not
I'm
a
in the farm at the moment, not in the condo, so I can't check for
okay,
you.
it's not a brand you would know necessarily. Okay, well there you have.
Oh no, it's a common brand. I just can't remember. It's probably.
Okay.
I think it's like Hitachi or something.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, there you go,
And
everybody. That's
we've
what I'm
got
saying.
we've got Michael in the chat also asking if it needs a water drain or if it has a lint filter and if it dries cold.
Lint filter, yes. Dries cold. Oh, that's a good question. It dries cool, and it has an optional drain. You can capture the water, and there's just a water censoring alarm that tells you when the water drawer is full, or you can just dump it into the waste.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And then I see another question in the chat about how the US government as policymaking bodies can improve, I'm assuming, the efficiency of geothermal heat pumps and induction cooktops in the community to reduce community BGE bills. I think the government has to, provide rebates and incentives for people to be able to do these things and know that they're going to be financially rewarded for that upfront cost. So I think David covered a few of, the rebates available. But ultimately, yeah, that's on the government to set those policies at the federal or state level. Does that address your question, or is there anyone else who wants to speak on that? Ikechi?
I think it's policy makers first, right? Policymakers, and then making utilities do certain things, which can take some time. But as far as the Mid-Atlantic is concerned, there's certainly a lot of policy that is going in the right direction.
Thanks, Cara.
Also, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, go ahead, no worries.
So also, I think government can utilize this GMO thermal heat pump versus electricity because it is more efficiency when compared to electric stoves because it is directly put on the floor and it gets heat automatically, unlike that of electric stove.
Okay, so it gets some of the ambient heat.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you for sharing. I think a lot as well is making it the default for future construction and just, setting rules that any new buildings need to, adopt these practices. And setting money towards the people who have the least well-insulated homes and the least energy efficient homes to get those first, incentives and support in order to make those upgrades. So I think it's two-pronged there as well.
Okay.
All right, do we have any more questions before we want to move on? I see one more from Michael in the chat about if HP dryer is basically a dehumidifier. I had that thought as well when we were talking about it.
I would
Stephen,
say, yeah, basically, yes.
good for the plants, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I guess you don't need to buy a dehumidifier then if you want to go that route. 2-for-1 special. Well, thanks for sharing your experience with that, Stephen. It sounds like we've got a lot of people interested.
We could learn a lot from the Canadians.
Yes. Um, okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. So just a little neighborhood sun announcement. We recently made our new app public on the marketplace. So you can download our Sun Engine app. I'll share the links in an email that I send out after this, but you can also search for Sun Engine in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and you can download our app and log in just as you would to My Solar. And now you're able to do all the things that you would do in My Solar from the app. So it's a little bit easier to use. You can update your payment, you can make a payment, you can update your account info, consult our resources, review your contract, track your all-time savings, your monthly savings, make referrals. Anything you need to do, you can do within the app. So would recommend checking that out. And if you have any feedback on the app, I'm gonna share our email address in the chat and you can send any feedback to this email address and we'll take that into consideration as we continue to improve that. So
And
that's,
it's the same password to your regular account.
yes,
Very
exactly.
nice. Yeah.
Exactly. And do keep in mind that any changes that are made in the app will take effect just as if they were done online. Do we have anyone in here who's already used the app?
I am using it. So
Oh,
they just they just released it about a couple of months ago. I talked to, I guess, the owner of the solar company that I'm with, and he really advocated, and I'm quite pleased with that. And that's the app I use to promote the idea to my friend because my friend got burned by putting a solar panel on his roof, and now solar panel not working, and he couldn't get back to the company because the company went bankrupt because it was under warranty, but they didn't want to honor the warranty. So the quickest way for them to respond to this, they declare bankruptcy. So he has a solar panel on his roof, but he cannot use it. I said that's not the right direction. Go
yeah.
this way and look at the app. Look at you can clear see everything there. So. Uh,
That's wonderful. I'm so glad you're using it and I found it helpful. And if you have any input on improvements we can make that will make it easier for you to use that as a tool to, help other people in your community subscribe, definitely let us know. We've got the refer a friend button in there, but we're happy to add any other resources that would be helpful in spreading the word about community solar. And we're also always interested in feedback regarding any of the barriers that you encounter when you try to help a friend sign up. We're curious, what the obstacles are that you encounter that might prevent them from moving forward. So,
It occurs to me that in Maryland, there could be a page that shows the difference between Neighborhood Sun and that whole slew of other companies, Clean Energy, Clear Energy, Green Mountain Energy, that were so common in Maryland, and that people might really appreciate knowing that third-party energy suppliers are one thing and community solar is something entirely different.
Mm.
I think that would be very helpful.
Thanks,
For
David.
Maryland, specifically for Maryland, and also to even mention the consumer protection law that is now kicking those third-party energy suppliers out of the state.
Yeah, that's a great note. It seems like third-party energy is usually the one that burns people, but it sounds like in this case today, we've had a lot of people who have been screwed
Colorado,
over
it might
by
be different.
residential solar.
Colorado, it might be different if in fact there's a lot of rooftop
Hmm.
that have gone bad, to have a page that explains that, or at least a link to a YouTube or a link to a editorial or something that explains the situation Jay talked about. Because if
Yeah.
that company went bankrupt, there probably must be 100 or 200 or 1,000 people in Colorado, or 10,000 who
Yes,
who have been burnt by rooftop solar, and then those 10,000 people told their friends, and that's then a barrier to neighborhood sun.
absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, agreed.
Get your testimonial. We'll get your friend's testimonial.
Yeah, I didn't know how common of an issue that was, but I can imagine how frustrating it would be to have the panels and not be able to use them. If you think your friend would be interested in talking to us about it, I'd be happy to write a blog to share that story.
Yes, $60,000 investment went nowhere. He's
Mhm.
on his roof, he cannot use it, and he's very quite frustrated. Everybody points the problem to somebody else. Go and knock it there. But he made the investment. He cannot use it, and he's just stuck with it.
Mhm.
He's on
Would,
his roof.
would you mind sharing his email and I can reach out?
Yeah, send me an email. I will send you his email address
Okay.
because I tried to subscribe him, and I went through the process. So we had to link his account to the Excel Energy. I mean, this account to Excel Energy. So I was in the middle of the process to do that. But I think it's very important to you hear his story because
Yes.
he got
Yeah,
burned close to $60,000. He's quite frustrated
right.
and nobody can help him out. Uh, and the panel is on the roof. They don't work. Nobody takes responsibility to fix it. And he's out of $60,000. And the fact is, I was trying to subscribe myself to the same company. I said, I'm not going to do this. I tried to investigate it. And this is what happened. At the same time, I said, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's incredibly frustrating. Well, we definitely want to get the word out to make sure that doesn't happen to more people. And David, regarding what you were saying, I'm sharing right now in the chat a blog about third-party energy. It compares community solar to residential solar to third-party energy in, a visual chart so you can easily see the differences. Um, are you trying to pull that up? It's all right.
Um,
I think
okay.
people can just pull it up if they need to. It's in,
Out of, oops, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry.
no worries. Go ahead, Rachel.
Out of curiosity, the guy from Colorado, what is the main energy company there?
The name of the energy company is Excel Energy.
Excel Energy. Okay. I thought it might be the same as mine in Michigan because in Michigan, the energy company does have um, solar farms connected to the energy grid. So I was just curious. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks. And then, so yeah, check out that blog if you're interested. That's a good one to share with people who might be considering third-party energy or are already using it. And then I will share the download links for the app in the email for those who haven't tried it yet. And then we've got one more slide, David, if you want to
Okay.
go to the
So
next
the
one.
final slide is this electric coaches program. If any of you want to jump in with both feet, this is the link to the Rewiring America Electric Coaches Program. They're doing their 8th cohort. So I was in the 7th cohort. There were 200 people in this group. Um, we were divided geographically. We had a series of lectures and assignments and little quizzes. If you want to apply to this, they had set when I went in, there were 700 people that applied. They accepted 200. And they explained that if you want to get into this, if you're with a group, you have a better chance of being accepted than just as an individual person. So if you're with a group, you want to work with a church or community group or school, that's even better. So here's the site, and then you click here, and here's an application, and it walks you through some questions you have to answer, and then you can join this program. It's excellent. Okay, back to you.
Thanks, David. Well, we're at the end of our time here, so I don't want to keep anyone over, but thank you all so much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and share our email address one more time in the chat, stakeholders matter at neighborhoodsun.solar. If you have any feedback about the app, if you have any topics you'd like to see us focus on in future community advocacy board meetings, that's a good email address just for anything you'd like to share with us. So feel free to use that. And I will go ahead and stay on once everyone leaves in case Rachel, you would like to stay, Rachel and Nora. I can try to help you figure out your issue because I contacted someone about it. So I just want to make sure you're all set with your subscriptions. But to everyone else, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions along your home electrification journey, and I can connect you with David as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.